I don't think we should be spending a lot of time fixating upon the opinions of famous and powerful and rich people about a technology that they have not chosen to make a focal point of their interest. You know, Charlie Munger wasn't an advocate of Apple Computer, right? How about Amazon, right? How about Microsoft, right? Warren Buffett's a friend of Bill Gates for how many years, and he still hasn't bought Microsoft stock? And Microsoft is an idea that was, you know, fairly well understood 40 years ago, 30 years ago. So what you have is something so powerful that everyone's being asked to have an opinion. Presidents, you know, the president of Russia, the president of most nation states, they're asked to have an opinion. Every investor's asked to have an opinion.
Warren Buffett, alongside his right-hand man, Charlie Munger, are widely regarded as two of the greatest investors to ever live. One investment they've never been fond of and have no problem letting people know is Bitcoin, with Munger having called Bitcoin rat poison and Buffett having called Bitcoin rat poison squared. Many investors have chosen not to go anywhere near BTC because of the legendary status of the two investors. In his latest interview, Bitcoin bull and MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor rips apart Buffett and Munger's Bitcoin comments and explains why it'd be a grave mistake to listen to the two investors' opinion on a new technology. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where I will cover some new on-chain Bitcoin data to see if it backs up Michael Saylor's investment thesis. Also, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy finance content, consider subscribing or liking the video. It's free and you can always change your mind.
Well, I trust Buffett more than I do Michael Saylor. Why should I believe these guys that are talking about Bitcoin?
What you're seeing is a shockwave moving through the culture. You're seeing the most disruptive force in the world right now, and it's slamming into people and institutions faster than they can absorb it and appreciate it and understand it. And this is like shockwaves in the real world, right? If I move an airfoil through the air faster than the speed of sound is the rate at which air communicates with itself. The air can't get out of the way. I pound into it. I create massive turbulence and noise. The way to solve it is you go slower, but you know, then you're not supersonic. You know, Charlie Munger wasn't an advocate of Apple Computer, right? How about Amazon, right? How about Microsoft, right? Warren Buffett's a friend of Bill Gates for how many years, and he still hasn't bought Microsoft stock? And Microsoft is an idea that was, you know, fairly well understood 40 years ago, 30 years ago. So what you have is something so powerful that everyone's being asked to have an opinion, right? Presidents, you know, the president of Russia, the president of most nation states, they're asked to have an opinion. Every investor's asked to have an opinion. But what if I told you couldn't really understand it without 100 hours of time invested? How many people after the age of 40 spend 100 hours studying anything? You know, like once you get to, how about age of 65?
You don't think of Munger, Buffett, Gates, these guys spent 100 hours studying Bitcoin?
Aren't you sure they didn't? Isn't it obvious? I would say it's almost certain that he hasn't spent 10 hours. And so, I would say the same with most macro investors though right now. You know what? I would say the same with a lot of crypto investors. The world is full of, okay, how many people, I mean, I see it because I see it in my feed. Most people in the crypto space haven't spent 100 hours studying this. How many people have spent 100 hours studying the stock that they hold in their portfolio?
True.
How many people spend 100 hours studying Facebook? I'm actually saying that people should do the research until they get the conviction necessary to make their own decision. Look, like at the end of the day, this is property. I don't run I'm not promoting my own security. I'm not promoting an exchange. I'm basically suggesting go west, young man, get some land. Right? It's like go to America, right? Get some property and make a life for yourself. But you decide whether you're wanting to do that or not. Here's the more important point though. It's every single influential person in the world is being asked to have an opinion, but they're not spending 100 hours on the opinion. If I roll the clock back 100 years and I went to every politician and every rich person in the world in the year 1900 and I asked them what they thought about electricity, what do you think they'd say?
Right.
How about airplanes in the year 1904? What was the opinion then? So it's not unreasonable, and I don't think we should be spending a lot of time fixating upon the opinions of famous and powerful and rich people about a technology that they have not chosen to make a focal point of their interest.
Well, especially when they're 98 years old, Mike.
I think
that has to be a factor.
I think the more important point is everybody thinks for themselves, right? So you wouldn't go to Charlie Munger and ask him to pick out stocks in your name every winning stock in the past decade. Netflix, Google,
Fang.
Apple, Facebook, Amazon. How many of them were recommended to you by any of these people that you're getting opinions on? None of the Bitcoin antagonists or critics would have recommended or did recommend any of those stocks, right? So it's kind of a moot point. It's really just marketing or sparks that are being sent up, because what happens is these guys in the media, they interview them and they want to get a rise out of them, so they actually throw this out there. Nobody's asking Warren Buffett's opinion of silver or gold right now, because no one's interested in hearing the answer. The fundamental point here is you have to give the world a solution to their problem, not just be a critic. If you want to be a critic, you can criticize everything, but what's his answer? If you listen to Peter's debates, what he says is he only has 5% of his portfolio invested in gold, which means that he has 95% invested in something else. But what is the something else? Mm-hmm. And the point is, you're back in this same, hedge fund shuffle mentality. It's like, just give me all your money and I'm just going to shuffle it with random 95% opacity on random stuff back and forth, but don't question it. What about the 5? If it was a recommendation, he would own more than 50% of his portfolio in the gold, but he doesn't believe in it. So,
but his argument would be, I don't recommend people to buy 50%. I recommend people to buy 2 to 5%. That's his position.
He doesn't have an answer to that means that you're going to lose 95% of your wealth. So what's the answer?
So,
and your point is that diversifying.
And by the way, I have a debate. If you go online and you Google Michael Saylor gold debate, you'll find a pretty good debate that's got more than 2 million views right now, where I go point by point through the differences between Bitcoin and gold. The issue with Peter is Peter's not offering a solution to the world, right? He's simply trolling Bitcoin, and he's not trolling Bitcoin with any real concrete criticism other than he just doesn't like it. Find me somebody in the world that has invested more than 50% of a portfolio in gold or at $1 billion level. My position is pretty clear. I've invested almost $4 billion in Bitcoin. And I'm not telling you need to invest half your portfolio in it. I'm just saying that I think that it is money. It is an asset. It will appreciate in value. And one can create a strategy where it is the dominant part of the strategy. There are other people that have invested in companies. Amazon was Jeff Bezos' strategy. I get it, big tech. Other people have bought city blocks in New York City. That's a valid strategy. So investing in property or investing in technology is a valid strategy. But on the other hand, find me someone that has actually bet $5 billion on gold, where it constitutes more than 50% of their portfolio and it's their own money. And Peter's not one. Peter hasn't bet on gold. Peter's betting on gold going down. He's buying the Bitcoin, the gold miners that are dumping the gold, making the gold price decay. So that doesn't make any sense. If you dig into the gold miner balance sheets, read the 2-3 biggest gold miners, what you'll find is they overmine the gold, dump the gold, then they pay an income tax, then they dividend out their excess and pay a dividend tax, then they pay off their debt, which is 2%. So another way to say it is they would rather loan money out to the world for 2% interest than hold gold. That's how bad they don't like gold, right? And they're the ones that mine the gold. It's a crippling indictment of the entire industry, right? That they think it's going to zero. That's why they keep dumping the gold on the market. Find me somebody that really believes in gold. In fact, every single gold proponent you'll find on the internet, if you listen to them, they'll start their conversation with, well, first of all, I don't recommend you invest more than 5 or 10% of your money in gold. It's just like it's a hedge thing.
So there's Michael Saylor breaking down Buffett and Munger's comments, and he's got a point. Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger have never been at the forefront of technology investing, and this time is no different. But does the on-chain data back him up? Well, some new on-chain data out from analyst Lex Moskovsky. We have some data on Bitcoin wallets holding between 10 to 100 BTC. As of the last couple weeks, these wallets have begun stacking like crazy, with the supply being held by these wallets going parabolic. This is significant as this subclass of holders were the ones that correctly sold off during peak prices, yet now they are stacking faster than ever. Despite all the bad news and uncertainty, we are seeing inflows coming back into Bitcoin. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed today's video and that provided you some value. I'll see you all in the next video, and as always, have a great day.